I really like making future bass. One of my most popular videos is future bass. The last video I made was future bass, and now I'm making one again. In the two videos that I mentioned, they were both inspired by artists. So the first one was Porter Robinson and Kid, and then the last one was Illenium. But this time I just kind of freestyled it, and I didn't really base my music off of anyone. So I just did what I thought sounded good. So I'm just gonna walk you through the process and just how I imagined I wanted to make this song. So the very first thing that I did was make this chord progression. It's very simple. So we got a D minor, G minor 7, as far as I could tell. Then we got A sharp major 7. And then this last chord right here, bit interesting, so I'll come back to this chord later on, but in this instance right here it is a C major 6th apparently. So that's the chord progression. I started initially with just the piano here, but I felt like that was too boring, so I added this pad right here. They play the exact same chords. I also had this ambience in here to fill up some of the missing frequencies. Then I decided that it was really boring without any vocals, so I added these vocals right here. They are from this Spectrum Acapella collection from Cymatics. There's this trapped one right here, which sounds like this. You got me trapped inside this spell. Now, the thing about this is that, first of all, it's in G sharp minor and we are in D minor. So I pitched it up 600 cents or 6 semitones, which made it sound really like high pitched. You got me trapped inside this spell. Which I enjoyed. That's kind of what I want, especially in genres like future bass. I feel like having vocals that sound a bit synthesized, it gives a cool effect. I also made this vocal chop right here, which I decided would be the melody for the drop as well. So this kind of like fades in until we come to the break here. So I actually used a hip hop sample pack for this. I used the Viper sample pack from Cymatics. So they have some vocals here for this vocal part 2. They have these sung phrases. So the first one is this one here. So sick of this. That was the vet version. I used the dry version. So sick of this. First of all, I fit it to the tempo and to the scale. This is in C sharp minor and we are in D minor. So I just pitched it up 1 semitone and then I fit it to the tempo. And then I found some cool parts that I wanted to use. So this right here is her, when she says so, you can hear that the so is very like long. So sick. So I used that and I chopped it a little bit up, as you can see. This is when she says off, I think. Yeah, it's the off. This part right here is when she says trust you in this one. Trust you. So I just used that trust, which is also quite long, as you can hear. Trust you. And I chopped that up in different pieces. This is in C minor and in 120 BPM, which is a bit of a weird tempo to kind of change to when you're at 153, but I made it work. And luckily it was only one half note between the two. This one is in C sharp and this one is in C, which made them both sound kind of the same. So then going on to the mixing here, there is a lot going on. So first of all, I have this auto pitch, which is a free auto-tune plugin. So I changed the scale here to D minor. Then I put the depth and the speed at 100 just to make it sound really auto-tuned. But the cool thing about this auto pitch is that it has a formant shift option as well. So that's what I did. I dragged the formant down, as you can see. If I had this on 0, it sounds like this. So yeah, that is the vocal chops, and then we come into this break here. Because I was really lazy, I just used the hi-hat loop. I also add these two things here, which are like, you know, the typical wobbly future bass sounds. So we got this thing here, which is a square tooth and a saw tooth. This is very detuned, and this square tooth is not that detuned. And I have this LFO here, which goes on the noise. I have some noise on it just to bring out some higher frequencies, but it also goes on the level, which is the volume of both oscillators, and also this filter right here. So you can see this moves. I also have this one right here, which is a super detuned super saw. So I got saw waves for both of them. You can see that the detune is super high. I just did the same shape here, the same LFO for the volume of the oscillators. And also this one is pitched 1 octave up from oscillator A. I also, in this part right here, which is where the vocals cut out and I just put in some ad-libs, I added this thing right here, which is like a plucky super saw thing. And then I add some drums here. And then with some effects and transitions here, we move on to the build-up. So the build-up, I cut out all of these chords right here except for the piano. I low-passed the vocal chops, I made them kind of fade in, and I also have the lead in here, and then just some standard build-up drums with the vocals coming back. For the drop, I'm gonna start with the drums here. They sound like this. Super hard hitting future bass drums. This is the side chain. There is no sound coming from this one, but I have layered 2 kicks on top of each other. The first one is this stadium kick that gives this really cool like tail, or like it makes the kick kind of sound more, I don't know, dramatic in a way. And then I just have this standard trap kick. For the snare, I have this very standard future bass snare, but it sounds really thin, so I added this clap in here as well, which is also a stadium clap to make it sound more big and more full, more dramatic. And then I also had this tight snare from Kashmir. Nothing special about that really, but as you can see, I pre-shifted this a little bit to make it sound more snappy. Now for the chords, I have 2 layers. I have a very standard super saw. I have another super saw, but this one has less voices. This one right here is way less detuned and way fewer voices, so it sounds a bit different. Together they kind of like fill up the whole sound. So we got the kind of the more detuned voice, and then we have a more central voice in a way. But for the chords here, I said that I would come back to it, because in the intro here, I have this chord right here, and I interpret it as a C major, but it can also be interpreted as an A minor 7th, which is what I do in the drop, just to change it up a little bit. The bass here, it goes from D to G, A sharp, and then A. So I change it up from a C major to an A minor. And the reason I can do that is because the A minor and the C major are relative scales, but they have the same notes in them, so you can kind of change a little bit. So in the drop, I interpret it as an A minor 7 instead of a C major 6th. On to the lead here. The lead, as I said, follows the melody of the vocal chop. It consists of 3 leads. We got this one right here. Then I have this one right here. And then we have this one right here. I also have this pitch envelopes here, which add a really cool effect in these areas. It kind of smooths the transition from this note to the other, which it also sounds really cool. As you can see here at the very beginning of the drop, I have this little break. I only start with a kick, and then I have an EQ here, which is routed to the sidechain bus. So this EQ right here, and I only turn it on in certain areas. And the reason for that is just to build tension. So you expect the drop to come here, but it actually comes here instead, which is a cool thing that you can do in those type of genres where there is a drop. You can kind of just delay the drop a bit so it sounds, or it gives a bigger impact, because you expect the drop to hit and then it doesn't, and then it drops. In the second part here of the drop, I also added the vocal chops to complement the melody, and I also added the same hi-hat. Oh, what is going on with my voice? I also added the hi-hat loop from before, and then I have this after drop thing right here, which is also a cool thing to do, because it kind of gives a more gradual transition onto the next verse instead of it going straight from the drop where it's so much energy and then boom, silent. It kind of goes like a lot of energy, a little less energy, and then very calm. So then we go on to the next break. Not much have changed except for me adding this pizzicato violin, which is playing an arpeggiation of the chords. And also this cello. As you can see, I've changed it back to C major here. I also added a little bit of a spicy touch to the vocals here because, well, it only got one verse. So I had to replay the verse again, but I wanted to change it up a bit because I can't play the exact same thing because that would be boring. So what I did is I added some harmonies. So the way that I did this was, the first thing I did was that I found the melody of the vocals and then I put them onto a piano. And then I added these harmonies in where I wanted it to be harmonies. So you can hear like there, like here. So here I add this harmony here. And then I just did that for the duration of the melody. And then I went into a plugin called Newtone. Because this is such a big project, Newtone didn't function properly. So every time I tried to save with the Newtone loaded in, the project would crash. So I had to delete it. I'll still show you the process of how to do it. So what I do when I use Newtone is I go into the mixer and I just open or find an empty channel. And then I go into the effects here. And then Newtone is under the miscellaneous tab. This is what Newtone looks like. Then if I just detach it so it doesn't go away, I can then find the chord progression here and then just drag it in. This is gonna take the completely dry version of the sample, which is okay, but it's now gonna be in 145 BPM and in G sharp minor. Then I had to find the different notes, because the cool thing is that you can see all these sections here. Where he's singing, you could change this up and down. Where I wanted the harmonies to be, I just changed those to the notes of the harmony. And then I transported it again by just dragging it with this one right here. You can drag it in. So this is the harmony right here. This is the exact same harmony. But as you may be able to hear if you're wearing headphones anyway, this one is panned to the left and then this one is panned to the right. And that is just to create more room for the harmonies without interfering with the main lead. And I also made this one a little bit before the lead and then this one a little bit after, just so they didn't sound the exact same, because then it would sound kind of fake. So with the lead as well, it sounds like this. Which was a cool change. And then we just do the same thing here. I just add another top loop instead of just hi-hats. The build-up here is a little bit different. In the transition here, I don't have a lot of effects. I only have this one. And also this impact. And as you can see, it starts before the build-up. So I cut out everything except for the piano, I think. And then here I also cut out all of these build-up drums before this last part here. And I add this res bass or saw bass, just playing the D minor. It kind of creates like a darker feeling to the build-up. The first part of the drop is pretty much the same. I just changed the melody for the lead just for this part here where the drop is delayed. And I also add this open hi-hat. But for the second part, this is where the main changes happen. So here I added some growl basses. So we got this one and this one. And I also added this thing right here. And then the rest is pretty much the same. So yeah, I will give you a quick preview here. Just want to say thank you for watching, and also thank you for 400 subscribers. I was planning to make a video when I hit 400 subscribers, but then, you know, life and school and work and all of that came in the way. So I guess this is a thank you video in a way for 400 subscribers. It's only the beginning, and it's just gonna get up from here, and I'm super excited and super grateful for everyone who shows support to me and my channel. So yeah, I'm just gonna play you the final result now.